Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and we are on tonight after my long road trip from the Bel Air house. It was a lot of fun. Glad to be able to do the show. We made it back. I got a little bit of sleep, but I'm excited to be here with our guests tonight, the Jalbert brothers. And I'm sorry, I probably butchered their names. We'll get that right. They are film producers and directors of the show Haunted Tours. You can find it on Amazon, buy there. I've watched the first episode. I'm way behind on a lot of TV shows, but these guys, this is not your normal paranormal TV show by any means, and not for children. I had to tell these guys tonight, we have the no swearing rule, and that goes for our callers into the show. You can call into the show later on tonight. But yeah, this is definitely an adult paranormal show, but that's what I kind of liked about it a lot. It was a nice change for sure, and there's a lot of other differences and a lot of things that they do in this show. You have to check it out. All right, we were going to have one of the stars of the show, Steven, on, but I haven't heard back from him, and he ended up, I think he had a death in the family I saw on a Facebook post, so I totally understand if he couldn't make it because of that. Totally understand. All right, and what we do every Sunday night is the World Wide Web of Weird, so we want to get mood rolling so we can do that, and we'll be right with you in just a sec. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup, and as I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we have our guest on with us on Google Hangouts, so we will have all the phone lines open. I love having it when I got the guests on there, but let's go ahead and get that screen up so we can see our guests tonight. It is the Jalbert, I'm getting that right, Jalbert brothers?
That's right, my friend. We are the Jalbert brothers. What's up?
What's up? And we have Brian on the right there in the red. Of course, I think it flips it, so it'll be on the left. I remember when it does a video.
I'm in the red.
In the red. And in the black, we got Jake. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing? Appreciate you having us on, my friend.
So glad to have you guys on. Like I said, I got to watch the first episode. I'm way behind on TV shows, but I definitely want to watch the rest of them. You got one season out so far, and it looks amazing. The first episode definitely blew me away. So, you guys definitely set out to do something different as a paranormal show, and you definitely accomplished that. All right, and of course, my lovely co-host is in the panel with us as usual, Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing good. Looking forward to tonight's show.
Awesome. Rob might join us later. I don't know. We'll see. And Bill's probably sleeping right now. No, he went with me to the Bel Air house. Yeah, we didn't get any sleep, but I was still pumped to do the show. And of course, on the video engineer, Jeffrey Chan's here with us as well. We're going to be doing the World Wide Web of Weird. We should just go ahead and get rolling to that. Brian, Jake, anything you want to jump in anytime when we're talking World Wide Web of Weird, go ahead. Give me your thoughts. It's cool. All right, let's get rolling into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, I know last World Wide Web of Weird I said, I don't feel like playing Tom DeLonge's whatever To the Stars stupid video that they got out because it's such crap. But you know what? Let's discuss. We're going to start off with this because there's people coming out in the military. I don't have military background, but there's people that are coming out in the military that have seen this and are like, what a bunch of crap, because of the way these people talk. These supposed Air Force people in the Air Force are talking during the video does not line up with what they say should be happening during this kind of scenario. All right, let's get the trusty share screen up here so we can see. People, we are streaming out to Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. For people listening on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network, we do stream a Facebook version of the show. We are a webcast as well, and we have videos and art while I'm reading the articles or photos that you can see if you go to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. But if you like to listen, because we do play copyrighted music on that end that we don't on Facebook, stay and listen. I like to listen to shows. But if you do want to check it out later, we do post up sometimes an edit of the World Wide Web of Weird. Of course, I've been really lazy about that. But the whole video is there if you ever want to check out something we're showing in the World Wide Web of Weird later after the show. It'll be up on their Facebook page. We do have a Paranormal Soup YouTube page, but middle finger to YouTube. I really don't like YouTube. They've made me mad. Facebook ain't much better, but, but I still keep an archive of shows. You can definitely find just type in Paranormal Soup on YouTube. But let's get to the World Wide Web of Weird. This comes from Unexplained Mysteries, and, of course, it's been all over the web, is U.S. Navy, it's Navy pilots, sorry, not Air Force, but U.S. Navy pilots encounter UFO in new footage. The footage, which was recorded by pilots in the Boeing FA-18 Super Hornet fighter jet in 2015, shows strange white object moving considerable speed above the surface of the water. We're going to play a little bit of the audio of these guys talking. Go ahead and play the audio, Jeff.
I heard this on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see the video yet, though.
This is the video here. See if he has the audio for it.
Guy's like, woo!
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow. Let's fly.
Now, all right, you can stop the audio. When I first saw this, I've actually seen military videos, from jets and planes. I've never heard them ever talk like this, but I'm not an expert. I don't know. Well, a number of people have come out. Like Jamie mentioned, this was on Secure Team 10 did a video about this, that military people or, in the Navy, in the Air Force, they would never talk like this, ever. Ever. It wouldn't matter if it was a UFO or not. They would never talk like this. So this is a bunch of garbage. And what was I saying last week? I was saying I didn't feel like playing the video because they still haven't explained that supposed UFO photo they had said was over a U.S. Navy ship, and we found out that was a bunch of malarkey, that it was actually a photo from another time, another place, and it was debunked because it was one of those balloons, silver balloons from a birthday party. It was a number one for a 1-year-old's birthday party that flew away. But they no comment from Tom DeLonge and the $2.2 million they took from people.
I think it's the hardest thing, man, is just finding out what's the truth or not between some of this stuff, Well,
that's the thing. Tom DeLonge, everybody's like, it's Tom DeLonge, man. It's Tom DeLonge. I think he has good intentions, but I think he's getting played. He's not an experienced UFO researcher. He has a passion for it. I'm not an experienced UFO researcher. I love UFOs. I love the passion for it, but I would by no means consider myself an expert or a way to put together a group and lead a group like he's doing. More power to him that he thinks he's getting these government connections, but I think he's being played. I really think he's being played because of this kind of stuff coming out. That's just a bunch of horse crap. All right, let's move on. This is another one from Unexplained Mysteries here. Let's see. My tablet wants to work. Russia to launch mission to Mars in 2019. Announcements which has come days before the Russian presidential election at a time when the eyes of the world are on the country following the poisoning of a former spy in Salisbury suggests that Russia is still firmly committed to its space exploration program. Its space agency, Roscosmos, will be keen to make up lost ground after the failure of its Phobos Grunt Mars probe, which launched in 2011 with the goal of collecting a sample of soil from the Martian moon, Phobos, and then returning to Earth for further study. If you remember, we were just talking before the show, Brian, about Ancient Aliens. This was mentioned in Ancient Aliens. What was the moon in Ancient Aliens? They mentioned it? Phobos. And it's been mentioned other times because they have set, a long time ago, Russia sent, I don't know the year, a satellite to Phobos, and something basically took it out. So this is not the first failure. Not just in 2011. There was back in the 80s they tried. So they've been interested in that moon. There's something with there, and even
Our moon?
No, the Phobos, moon of Mars, one of the moons.
Oh, Mars has a moon?
Yes, Phobos is one of them. It has multiple moons. And Phobos is the one, and Carl Sagan always said if there was an alien structure in our solar system, that would be his best guess, would be Phobos, because it had an odd path around Mars and an odd shape or something like that. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but that's what I found interesting about this whole Russian article. No, yeah, they are in a bad light with this whole poisoning business. But why would you poison? I just have to mention, why would you like take out somebody and be claimed destined, but you're going to use a nerve agent that directly ties back to you? It's just a little fishy to me that would be Russia. But let's move on. Okay, number 3 is, I'm going to butcher this name of this town here, but I thought this was an interesting story. This comes from the star.com. Masuka, M-S-K-O-K-A, Masaka cottage comes with 30-day zombie-free guarantee. That's right. It comes equipped with all modern conveniences a family would need to survive a zombie apocalypse. 5 bedrooms, a loft, and a bunkie, 2 kitchens, and a bath, and a sandy beach with a clear view of the water. But buyers just weren't biting on the island cottage Matthew Swan is selling, even though he sleeps 26 dead or alive. That's a big place. The 63-year-old Masaga man applied some brains to the matter, reasoning that people are drawn to things that frighten them and things that make them laugh. So he posted a billboard just out of Brechin, Ontario, along Highway 12, advertising his certified zombie-free cottage. People are worried about many things these days. One of the last things you want to be worried about is the fact you buy a cottage for your family, and lo and behold, the place is infected with zombies. The sale comes with a 30-day, 30-night guarantee after the new owner will have to follow their own protocol to ensure the Z-free status. But I will go over it in detail with them, he said. Plus, it comes with a manual. Oh, I want to know what the manual says. The builder was enough to wake up an interest of Swan's zombiefree.ca website. There's about 100 hits the first week, and the sign was posted, and people in Brechin reported that folks were pulling their cars over to take pictures of the advertisement. It's pretty good. Good marketing idea. But, you know, if you wanted to survive a zombie apocalypse, they always show them in the movies. They never are swimming. Have you guys made a zombie movie? Because you guys are directors, you know, you do horror. Have you done zombie movies?
Never did a zombie movie, man. We've done a slasher. We've done some paranormal stuff. Even a kids movie, but not a zombie one yet.
Not a zombie? You guys got to do a zombie, man. If I was, got to do a zombie. You got to do horror. Got to do a zombie. I know they've been done to death. I know. But, man, if you do a zombie.
Dude.
I know. But, you know, you think if you want to survive a zombie apocalypse, you never see them swimming. So, I mean, I saw Fear the Walking Dead do it. I always said, well, we'll get a boat. They got a boat, but the problem was there was other people that had the same idea and were out on boats attacking each other. Yeah, so that was the problem with the boat. But this guy, you know, his cottage is on an island. You can only get to it by a boat, so at least that would protect you from the zombies. I don't know. A good idea.
Until they turn into the zombie.
Right. Well, yeah, somebody dies on the island, and I guess you're swimming for it.
Like Walking Dead, Island of the Walking Dead.
Yeah, Island of the Walking Dead. But if it's a small island, and you know it's just you and the people around you, they're like, you know, you give them health checks, make sure they're healthy, and if they, you know, come with a cough, you're like, well, there's the boat. Get on it and get off my island.
Throw them out.
Yeah. All right.
That's the next movie, man.
Yeah,
Walking Dead Island. That's what we're going to do.
Island. There you go.
Boom.
You can send royalty rights to Jason Bland at... No, just kidding. All right, let's move on. This is creepy. Any of you H.P. Lovecraft fans out there? Bizarre alert over school intercom prompts lockdown in Woodland. Woodland, Washington. A strange message that went over a loudspeaker at the Woodland Primary School Tuesday. And then my article goes nuts on me. Come on. There we go. On Tuesday, scared kids and confused parents. A strange message that went over the loudspeakers at Woodland Primary School Tuesday scared kids and confused parents. A 6-year-old Paisley tells it the school day wasn't a typical one. It was really scary, and I thought something like this. I thought something like what did she say? I thought like something would happen, and I thought it was real. She said. Remember, she's 6. She's talking about a bizarre message sent over the intercom that had her and her friends freaked out, hiding under their desks. She said, "I was crying." I recalled. All right, go ahead and play that audio, Jeff. Can you get that audio working? Baby. Not hearing it, Jeff, if you're playing it.
I am speaking to you about the future. Run for your lives, wretched humans. I will smell you all.
So that creepy message, which comes from... Oh, we're going to get echo until Jeff mutes. Mute, Jeff, mute. That's from him playing his internal sound. We get echo. But there's... That's from H.P. Lovecraft. And they use it. Why in the world? This is for a school monitoring system, alarm system, and they have a backup default audio file built into it for testing. And somebody, whoever built the system, must be an H.P. Lovecraft fan because he used this strange monologue from an H.P. Lovecraft novel and put it in the testing system. And what happened was something went wrong with the system, and it started playing the test, and it played it over the whole intercom system. Teachers were freaking out. Like they said, kids were hiding under desks because they were like, what is coming over the speaker? So, yeah. I think somebody's in trouble with that alarm company. All right, let's move on. This one's cool. This is a dog in Yorkshire Castle, a ghost dog. It's from the Yorkshire Evening Post.co.uk is the website. Walker in photographs ghost dog in the grounds of Yorkshire Castle. And this is more than like a ghost dog to me. This is something otherworldly. That's not it. That's the creature from H.P. Lovecraft. Here we go. All right, so a visitor to Sandcastle has captured an image of what she believes is a dog-like mythical beast on the grounds. The woman from Castleford was training for a charity hike at that site when she spotted a strange apparition on the evening of March 7th. As she said, it passed in front of her at the castle near Wakefield. She took the photo of a large dog-like creature on her mobile phone and later sent the image to the Haunted Yorkshire Paranormal Investigation Group. Local author Richard Brummel and Joel Collins, who run the forum, believe the spooky hound could be a cryptid, a creature whose existence is unverified. Famous cryptids in folklore include Yetis and Loch Ness. You can tell this is not a regular paranormal story for this website. The most famous cryptid filmed in the UK, well, yeah, we don't need to know about all that. But this is really interesting. You can see he's got the one still of it. But they're playing the video of it for people listening on late night in the Midlands. And this is not a dog. There's something odd about this. It's either, we got somebody playing some shenanigans here, or we got something weird going on because there's something just not right about this creature. It looks like the thing out of Stranger Things.
Why are always the videos bad?
It always is bad. It's always bad. It is always bad. You'd think with cell phone technology now the video would turn out better, but it's also going to be bad on my. You can go to the website and watch it because it does come about grainier when we were sharing screens and stuff. But it's still not that much better. It's not that much better though when you watch it.
They still need the Jalbert brothers there because if we filmed it, it would have been pretty clear.
It'd be crystal clear. You would have seen it, and they would have thought it was a scene out of Stranger Things, man.
And green light.
Looks like a kangaroo.
It does look like little kangarooish.
Yeah, it does. It has like that. The legs are kind of odd. Like they could have that, but it is messed up. Like I said, it reminds me of like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. I know. I'm a geek. Okay, let's move on. Number 6 here. This comes from StoryTender.com. Any moment that my article wants to work. This is a cool one. This is either shenanigans or misrepresentation because it was just a person playing, a reenactor. I don't know, but Ghost of Admiral Nelson's wife filmed aboard the HMS Victory. A personal trainer has captured a spine-tingling footage of what he believes to be the ghost of Admiral Nelson's wife aboard the HMS Victory. In the eerie footage, what appears to be a ghostly figure of a woman in a dress and heels walks through the upper chamber of the warship before disappearing through a wall. So I guess there's a wall there, so that's another reason they think it's not a real person. Tony Ferguson was enjoying a day out last week and soaring the vessel, which was Lord Nelson's flagship in the Battle of Trafalgar. I totally butchered that. When he started to feel like someone or something was following him, the 30-year-old had a passion for the paranormal investigation, quickly got out his video camera and panned through the chamber. While he didn't see anything with his naked eye, when Tony watched the footage back, he had clearly captured a woman figure he believes is the ghost of Frances Fanny Nelson. It's pretty interesting. It's either real or it's shenanigans, or it didn't say there was any reenactors on the ship. So, I mean, it definitely looks like period garb in the video. That's not the fashion of today.
Interesting.
It is interesting. All right, so next season 2 of Haunted Tours. That's the HMS Victory for you.
Victory?
Yeah.
Well, we do state by state, so we'd have to do that whole state then, or wherever it's at.
Yeah.
You said it's in UK or something?
That one, I think was. Hold on. HMS Victory is. Where did it say it was? Totally missed that.
See, we funded the full season of season 1, so season 2 we have to keep it still in the United States at least, man. It gets a little bit pricey, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I don't see it. I don't see where it says where it's from. Anybody knows, put it in the comments. I didn't see that. Even in the article, I'm like looking back. It's a short article. All right, last thing, of course, I had to mention is this week Stephen Hawking died at the age of 76. I'm a fan of Stephen Hawking and not a fan. Like, there's things I love about Stephen Hawking. There's things I hate. It's sad that he passed. It's crazy he lived as long as he did, especially when they told him he was going to die like in 2 years or 6 months or whatever when he first got diagnosed. But he held on long as he did, and it's real sad he passed on. He also was a devout atheist. So you wonder, if there is an afterlife. I'm not an atheist. I'm an agnostic, but I generally tend to believe there is something. If there is an afterlife, what that experience is for him, what that inquiring minds want to know. But yep, had to mention Stephen Hawking. It's sad he has passed and left us. But that's it for the World Wide Web of Weird. We want to get moving so we can get to our guests. So we're going to cut to our first commercial break. For people watching on Facebook, we do play music out to Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. So you will hear some quiet, but we will be back. Don't freak out. That's just, we can't play the copyrighted music on Facebook. It's bad. Facebook doesn't like it. All right, when we get back with the Jalbert brothers, we're going to talk about their show, Haunted Tours, and some of the experiences they have had. And like I said, the show really does push the limits of paranormal TV. You wouldn't see this on a network TV show. You definitely would never see this kind of show on. It's pretty out there. All right, guys, we'll be right back with you in just a few minutes. All right, tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guests are the Jalbert brothers, Brian and Jake. They are out of Tampa, Florida, and they have produced a show that is way different than any of the paranormal shows you're seeing on TV. This is, like I said, this is definitely a paranormal show for adults, and it definitely goes to push the limits of what you shoot, and definitely not recommended for at home. For anybody, honestly. These guys, they do what they do. I do not recommend you do anything that they do in this show. You go check it out. The links, for people watching on the Facebook, the links are in the description of the show, their trailer, and their first episode. Definitely go check it out. And then you can find it on Amazon. I'll make sure these guys get all the relevant information so you can find the show. All right, let's get to our guest. How you doing tonight, guys?
Good, brother. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Glad to have you on. Sorry Steven couldn't make it. Like I said, I think that I saw a Facebook post. He had a death in the family. I totally understand. Maybe get him on again. So tell the audience a little bit about your guys, how you got involved in this.
Well, the first thing about Haunted Tours is this. At the beginning of every episode, we put a warning on there. And there's a reason why we do this, because we don't want you guys to reenact what we do. Because ultimately, when this show was created, it was an idea, and it was something I had playing around for a little bit in my head, and I wanted to do something that had to do with that. I loved unsolved mysteries growing up. Really scared the hell out of me. Love ancient aliens, like we talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Wanted to do something in the paranormal realm because I never believed in it, but there's always that, I want to know the truth, because a lot of people seem to believe into it. So what is it that they're seeing that I'm not? So we had an idea for the show. The original idea was I had something called Haunted Hollywood I wanted to do, but I felt like that was just wouldn't work, so we came up with the Haunted Tours thing. Originally, we had Victoria Catherine to host the show, who I wanted somebody that was in the same realm as me, a skeptic, but didn't understand the paranormal at all. And there's a reason why. We wanted people that are like her, that have never experienced the paranormal, never been on a tour or anything like that, to really feel what she's feeling. And we feel like we accomplished that with her. And we ended up running into a guy named Stephen Urcantello. And how I ran into him was through a friend of mine in production said, "Hey, I know this guy is in the paranormal, and he's really extreme." And I said, "That's awesome." I said, "That's what we want for this." I said, because I want somebody to push the limits. I want somebody to take it beyond what you normally see within a show. And it's funny because I never watched any other paranormal show prior to this. And there was a reason why, is because I didn't want to see what everybody else was doing. I just wanted to go do. And I think that was me enjoying the journey and not totally knowing. And that's kind of what we did. So in the first episode, like you saw, that's legitly the first time we met Steven. Like legitly.
Yeah,
I never met Steven. Yeah, I never met Steven in person. And Victoria didn't know Steven. And that's what we wanted. We wanted organic. We wanted raw. We wanted real. We wanted extreme, and we wanted an honest take on it. So when you see us going through these locations, like, it's us feeling stuff, whether it's through perception or mind or actually feeling stuff. Like, we're going to tell you that. If we're not, like, we're going to say, like there's times where Victoria's like, you guys aren't feeling anything? We're like, nope, nothing happening, you know? So I think that was the biggest thing. And it got started very small from an idea, and it just kind of grew organically to where we are now. And with each episode all the way to number 5, like, you can really see, I think, the change in the group as far as we got more extreme and we pushed the boundaries even more towards the later episodes. Like, the first episode's really tame compared to, like, the 5th episode where we're burning a dress. Like, you know, and I don't condone people to do this, but it felt necessary in the time that we were there, because we really like to, in a lot of shows you'll see the reenacting, right? It's with actors, and you're seeing this stuff. Like, why not reenact the actual acts that took place, that are supposedly that took place, and see if we can, I don't know, manifest some energy or I don't know, bring something out, you know?
You're talking, yeah. If people watch the show, you're definitely going to see right off that, yeah, this. You see a lot of paranormal shows, and you can see they just stick this almost exactly the same format like Ghost Hunters set up many years ago on Sci-Fi Channel. So I'm not saying everybody's copying, but I'm saying that they're sticking to the format. And you guys, you can tell you have no experience with that at all. It's a completely different kind of show. People will definitely be taken back. Well, like, wow, this is definitely different. But one of the things is that you guys, like you say, you had Steven to push the boundaries. I mean, there's things, just the one episode, you can see you guys just met him, and there's drama going on in there between you guys. Like, I don't think you should do this. Like, yeah. You know, you
and that's all real, man.
Yeah. And you want to talk about pushing it to extreme? I mean, he does. He goes way extreme stuff. I mean, I was telling you before, there's stuff he's done on your show. You know, I think this one was in the trailer, but as you know, I pre-warned these guys. I want to like tell them I'm going to like just drop this on them. I pre-warned them I was going to let them address this on the show. But I think this is in the trailer. I don't think this was in the first episode where the guy holds the gun. Yeah,
that's 4.
That was in the trailer. I think I saw it, and I saw some of it off of Steven's own channel. I think at one point or something like that. I'm trying to remember when I saw it, but yeah, as a formerly in law enforcement, and I have had firearms training, and as a gun owner, that's too far to me. That's when you're pushing it way too far, because the first thing they train you in firearms training is you never, the only time you're going to point a gun at somebody is if you're going to shoot them, especially a loaded gun. But even a gun you don't know if it's loaded, you assume it's loaded. Never assume it's not loaded, and that is a loaded gun. Yeah, it
was not loaded. So we did check it, and we didn't check it prior. We checked it right there as Steven pulled it out. And you'll see in the show, we check the gun, and we actually make sure we clear it.
Okay. But see, in the trailer, it looks like he's loaded and he's doing it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, with a trailer, you're trying to condense everything down so much that you can't really do a lot of explaining. It's more of just showing, the sizzle of every episode within it. To get people to go, hey, I want to check this out. That's of interest to me, or that's insane. I got to see what these guys are doing. and we wanted to break the mold. We wanted to break the format. And, a lot of that stemmed from Steven because of his personality and who he is and the things he really goes with and gives. Like, man, if you guys understand Steven's passion and how much he loves the paranormal and how much he gives and really tries different things and is not
literally
scared
his own
of
blood. Literally his own blood, because he's bled onto his Ouija board, and he says he had human ash. Even I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know where he got the human ash from, but
I don't know, man.
We try to let him do his own thing. We don't tell him what to do.
Oh, yeah.
We let him, because he's the expert. He's not going to tell me how to run camera or produce the show, right? So we're like, dude, do your thing where where you excel. And same with Victoria and everybody else. And I think that's what makes the show so special, having everybody doing what they do best and not trying to say, okay, well, Steven, you can't do this, or Victoria, you can't do that. So let's formulate it and let's keep you in a box like this, which I think most big networks make you do.
And then it kind of hinders you. And guys, the biggest thing, I want to say one thing about this too, because I don't know if a lot of people know this or even understand this. We put our own money and our own time into the first season. There's no network backing us. There's we had one sponsor on the first season, and that was the Horror Chicks. So big shout out to the Horror Chicks for sponsoring us. But we didn't have no backing but ourselves. And we went out in my Prius. I drive a Prius. I race, but I don't win that much.
No. Unless it's just a Prius race. Is it a Prius race?
That's what I'm saying. I get a lot of gas mileage. I can outlast them, you know what I'm saying? Right. But we load up the gear, and we just go to the location. And it's just us. There's not a huge crew. We're not reenacting anything. Like I said about the reenactments with Victoria and Nick, we throw them on the spot.
Well, you're not seeing like a lot of shows are like interviewed after.
Yeah.
So I'm interviewing as it's happening. So you actually feel right after she felt like maybe something or she felt a scratch or felt like burning. Like I'm like, dude, how are you feeling right now? And you get to experience how she's feeling like at the moment, as opposed to like cutting and then going to an interview that's like a day later when it's already kind of like
or when
the experience is kind of gone for them.
Well, or when they fake the call. Let's say they get to go. We got an investigation, and so really, and so you can see like they put paranormal investigators now on TV, painfully act out these like little cut scenes or these scenes in between, like or at the beginning for an investigation. Like, you don't have to do that. I've always said that to paranormal shows. You don't have to do that. Just bring the camera along when you go to interview the client for the first time. But TV is so controlled. Producers in TV want to control every aspect. That's why you'll never see this show on TV. It's live,
Don't be surprised. You may see it.
You never know. But they want to control everything, and you can tell that's not happening. It's your dime. It's what you guys are doing, and nobody's controlling you. And that's what I generally really, really liked about the show. Like, I've only seen the first episode, I admit, but I did like that. Like I said, the only issue I had was the trailer. I think the trailer pushed me back a little bit. I was like, whoa, hello,
Well,
who's pulling out the gun?
The whole network thing, you don't really need it anymore. I mean, we're on the biggest one of the biggest platforms out there, which is Amazon.
Yeah.
And with Facebook, advertising, we're in control of our own marketing, we're in control of our own advertising and what we want to push out there. So we are our own network. Haunted Tours is the network. It just doesn't have 40 years of
controlled.
You know what I'm saying? 40 years of building
programming.
Yeah.
So. And then I like that. I like seeing the direction we're going when it comes to TV entertainment and screwing the big networks, because they the control is so obvious and it's so uptight, and it's got to be so formatted. I think there's a lot of great paranormal investigators on these other TV shows that could do some really good stuff, and there are some. There are some shows I still watch and like. But most of them I think are so hampered by the doing it. I've never wanted to be on a paranormal show. Like a TV ghost hunting show. I like to paranormal investigate. I don't want cameras or messing with producers. This is the only thing I do show wise for the paranormal. I would never want to be, a ghost hunting. it would be cool. It'd be cool to go to the locations, but I would never want to have that kind of network control. You know, if I were to do something, to be like what you're doing, you know, with people that are
You can
honest.
do it right now with a camera.
Yeah, I just don't like messing with trying to filming it and editing it.
Yeah.
I just don't. Yeah,
It's a lot of work, man.
It is. I went to film school. I know how long it takes to put this stuff together. And
Did you go to film school?
Yeah, Columbia College, Chicago. Didn't graduate though. Couldn't afford to keep going.
Oh man, yeah, school,
Too
man.
expensive.
Look at you, bro.
You know, luckily I don't have the student debt. I would have
good.
if I would have kept going there. But, anyways, so yeah, doing this, you know, where now? I'm trying to remember. What was the first place you guys went to in that pilot episode?
The Maystringer House in Brooksville.
Give the audience a little bit of a taste of where you went, what this first place was. Tell them a little bit about it, what you know.
So our background is never experiencing the paranormal. I've never had any experience. I've never, up until this point, I've never had any interaction with going on any type of ghost tours or anything like that. The only thing I did prior was I'm from Boston, and my sister lives in Salem, New Hampshire. And we did some stuff in Salem, New Hampshire, which was kind of cool, you know. But the Maystringer House is interesting because me personally, I didn't get any feeling or sense there. Victoria was getting a lot of like action, and I guess scratching or heating up on her arm. She was experiencing that a lot of, and it was more of us now documenting this. And a lot of time when we're doing this, we're so focused on what we're doing. You know, I'm running sound, producing, Jake's running camera, that a lot of times it's hard to totally immerse ourselves in the experience of the paranormal, if that makes sense to you.
No, it makes complete sense. That's why I would never want to like try to shoot a show.
Yeah.
Or because you do, as an investigator, you have to keep your senses open. You guys can't do that if you're filming in that. It's hard.
And it was tough. And the thing is, too, like, because it was the first season and we only had so much money, each location, we were only allowed to be there. I think the Maystringer House, we got there at like 6, and we did the day tour, which the actual tour guide. And then when Steven got there, it was dark. And then I think we got till about 12. So we got like maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 hours in the location total. So it's not really like we're not able to stay there a whole night or anything like that. And that's where I think when we get to season 2, we're going to be able to expand on more to get more time in a situation, because we got a couple things on the spirit box. Victoria was getting some major action. And then as far as Steven, I don't think he was feeling too much at that location as well. And then Nick had some stuff too. Nick actually said he got something in his ear, like a growl or something. But I will say this, episode 4 is a little trippy. Episode 4 and 5, in my opinion, for me, because in episode 4 we were in Tampa and we did the Cuban Club, right? And we did the day tour, and Steven gets there, and we went upstairs, didn't really get much, and then we went into this room with this mirror, and it's an old mirror. Supposedly, I guess one of the girls seen something in it and broke it and shattered it or whatever, and then they replaced it. But Steven gets in front of it with the spirit box, and he's like, what is this object we're standing in front of? And out of nowhere, the spirit box actually says, a mirror. So you're getting this stuff that me personally, I've never experienced, and I'm like, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're getting something that's actually repeating or saying something that you're asking it to say almost, that's a bit trippy. You know what I'm saying?
See, but I love going on investigations with somebody like you. You have really no experience in the paranormal.
Yeah.
You've never seen it. To me, I've had that happen countless times. Spirit boxes, and it just out of thin air on a recording, it replying to that kind of question. But spirit boxes, I've seen that. We've had it on the show. I mean, we do live sessions on this show once a month, or almost once a month.
Wait till you hear your name a bunch of times.
The last show. Yeah. You hear your name.
It's a
Yeah.
hell of a coincidence.
Oh, Rob joined us. I didn't even notice. Hey, what's up, Rob, from St. Augustine, Florida, not far from you guys.
So we went to St. Augustine. How you doing, Rob?
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that lighthouse.
Oh, you saw it? I haven't. I see. I have only got the first episode. So you guys went to St. Augustine as well?
We went to St. Augustine, and I do want to mention one thing. We did because we used a Ouija board, and that's a big no-no, I'm told.
Well,
yeah.
it's more than that. It's more than that. I mean, like, I don't want to say it's a big no-no, because if you know what you're doing with a Ouija board and you know how to protect yourself, cool. But I watched Steven do it, and he purposely does what you're not supposed to. This is what Steven does. He pushes the envelope so much, he's like, oh, you tell me I'm supposed to close the circle so they don't come in? Okay, I'm going to not do that because I'm going to make sure they do
he has
come
a
in.
Ouija board on his chest.
Yes.
Tattooed
on his chest. Yeah, the man's committed.
That's devotion, man. That is devotion. But so episode 5, right? We get to the place, and we never open the session on the Ouija board. And Steven likes to put the spirit box on the Ouija board, which I think is kind of a cool technique. And his blood. So mind you that he's throwing his blood on it, and then supposedly human ashes. I don't know where that came from, and that's brought up in episode 2. Victoria's like, where do you get human ashes, you know? I'm like, I don't know. Somebody cremated, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, can I have some of your dad's ashes on this urn here? Just
Exactly.
a little bit. No.
Exactly. So we get there, and so we go through asking questions on the spirit box, and we're getting, like, nothing. Like, legitimately nothing on a spirit box. And then Victoria, towards a certain part of it, we're going to move on to the next thing, and she's like, oh, we never opened a session. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're right. So he opens the session, and then all of a sudden we're getting all kinds of activity through the spirit box. So little things like that really make you go, like,
That,
you know what
that
I'm
was in
saying?
the trailer, wasn't it? That part? Because I remember seeing that.
No, I don't think so. No.
Did I watch
Episode
another
5.
episode?
Episode 5.
Did I watch another episode then? Because I remember seeing that. Or maybe I saw that in a video trailer somebody
Maybe
put
a
up.
video.
Well, because we put out a lot of like 1-minute clips of
I
different
must have
parts.
saw it. I saw it somewhere on Facebook or something. And I saw it at some point because I saw that, and I thought that was it. I did think that was really interesting. That you get you do that. He purposely left the circle open, and then that's when you start getting the activity. I thought that was extremely interesting.
It's definitely intriguing. It's definitely eye opening. And I know for season 2, we're looking to do some even more intense stuff, like really bring it to like a whole new level of opening things up and really
things that
trying
nobody
to.
has ever. But yeah,
Because our ultimate goal is to capture something on camera while we're filming, and actually get that, whether it's a formation, something you can't debunk, where you can't say, oh, well, maybe it was this, or maybe it was that, because you always seem to get that. You know what I'm saying?
You got so many people like, whoa, did you hear that? What was that? Like, it's like, come on, dude, bro, it's an old house, it's creaking, like, it's probably nothing. But and you have Victoria, who is kind of just nonchalantly and laughing at times and kind of doing her thing. So if she feels something, you're gonna know that she's feeling something. Like she's not gonna be able to hide that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what's so cool about the way she approaches it.
I call it the funhouse effect. Sometimes you take people on, even I've even seen experienced investigators fall for it, but you start jumping at things. Especially if you get the tour beforehand and hear all the stories, and they're like, oh, what's that noise? Oh, you hear that? I mean, I don't get that much with the experienced investigators, but I definitely get it with new people. And I think they do it a lot on these formatted TV shows just to keep it interesting. It's not really interesting. I'd like to tell them it's not interesting. It's annoying, but.
Yeah. And we don't want to do that. Like, guys, like, legitly, that's our biggest thing, is we don't want to do that. We just want to document. That's where we come into play. That's where we excel. We want to document what we actually get. And if we get nothing, then sorry, guys, you got an episode of nothing. But maybe we got a little bit of activity here, a little activity there.
And that's why we try to be as entertaining as possible throughout the actual show, to entertain and
with our personalities.
Yeah,
Who are we?
It's like, man, I like, Victoria's personality, or I like Steven or Brian or me. I'm always asking weird questions to pull stuff out of the Steven and Victoria. You can hear me in episode 4. I'm like, dude, why are you doing this? And he starts saying some stuff. I'm like, but why? Like, why are you going? I'm like, why are you going through such lengths? And he's not giving me what I want. You can hear me like, and I'm like, yeah, but why would you? And he just starts going off, and it's like, okay, that's what I wanted. I want you to explain different things and you can hear that, which is kind of cool. So it's very from like the person's perspective, the way the camera is. It's like, oh, you must feel like you're there,
You want to get in the head of Steven, like, why are you doing this? Like, seriously. I mean, you really, I mean, he's pushing it to a dangerous point. Like you said, you have that disclaimer at the beginning of the show. It's serious. You do not do anything this guy is trying to do. I do not recommend it for even the most experienced paranormal investigator. I don't care how experienced you are. I mean, the experienced ones would tell you not to do any of the things he's doing. I'll just say that right now. They would tell you never, ever to do half the things he's doing.
He's gotten a lot of flack for that stuff.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
You know what? He's willing to take it to lengths that others ain't, and that's where you become great. The greatest people take it to lengths that others aren't willing to go. And if that takes his life, and he's willing to put himself on the line, and we're willing to put ourselves in the line of fire, then so be it.
You have to think. You do have to think about the if something happened to Steven, you guys would be the direct ones in the line of fire of it. If something did happen to him, I mean, it's serious. It would.
If he
People
comes
would
back
look
on
at
the
you.
spirit box, we know it's true.
Right? Oh God.
Like, Steven, are you there?
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be good either. But he probably would. He would do it. He'd find a way. But yeah, I mean, I love the paranormal. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I've experienced things that would just, like you've never seen it. I understand if you wouldn't believe a thing I said. I've seen a green floating head fly through the room with another person as a witness when I was a kid. I've been levitated off my bed. So for me, I'm the direct opposite. I've had lots of paranormal experiences, and I think Steven probably has too. And for him, it's the drive to say this stuff is real. It is real. Or maybe it's not. Maybe that's not his drive. I don't know him, but I would never go to those limits to prove it, though. I have my line. I don't care if that it's never going to get proven either way. I'm not going to. There's certain lines I'm not cross. I'm a father for one. I would never put my life in any kind of jeopardy. It's just I wouldn't. I love it, but never. It's never worth putting yourself in danger.
Well, I mean, he's already done so much stuff, and he's still doing it. So he loves me. He loves
And I'll tell you, it is entertaining to watch. It is entertaining to watch. I want to see, I'd like you guys are doing the season 2. It'd be, he's definitely, I believe in the, what it calls sacrificial lamb effect. And Steven would be perfect for it as a sacrificial lamb. You put people, well, actually, probably not, because the man has no fear, obviously, of any of it. For me, a lot of times it's putting people in a position alone where they are going to be afraid, and the fear amps the paranormal activity. But it'd be interesting to put Steven in a location, a place you've got it's really good activity. Give him like put every camera you could in this place, any kind of equipment you can, load it up in there and monitor him for 24 hours and let him go to town and see what happens. See what happens. And it's a lot of review and a lot of editing, but just let him go alone and see what happens.
He was talking about this too. He wants to be tied to a cross upside down and hung up in a we were talking in one of the jails because he got scratched. Which jail was it? I don't think they let people in no more. It was one up in North Florida that we wanted to go to that we could not get into. We were going to do another episode, but we weren't able to. So we had to cut it off at 5. Florida feels kind of tough for really, really good locations. I mean, I felt like we had some good ones, and we were able to vary it from the St. Augustine Lighthouse to a Maystringer House to the last episode where we're out in the Bellamy Bridge, where we had a bunch of diverse type of environments. We're thinking about doing season 2 in Nevada. Ooh. We got some connections out there, and we've heard it's really good. So we'll see how that goes. But I think we might head there for season 2.
Well, you got to wonder too. I mean, some of these places. I mean, what do you go through with them? Like, we want to shoot a show here. We have an investigator. I mean, I noticed some of the times, at least in the first episode, he was doing a lot of his stuff outside the location, like the stuff that got really out there, like the train tracks. Of course, you had to go outside for the train
Oh,
tracks.
that was episode 2.
That was episode 2, the train tracks? I
Yeah.
think I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen
she
a lot of the
actually was
clips.
really cool. She was really cool about everything we did. She was cool with the
But you
Ouija
gotta admit,
board.
there's going to be other
everything.
places that the owners are going to be like, oh, no. He
Yeah.
wants to
Look at
tie
that.
himself upside down on a cross. You got to, some owners are going to be like, no,
Yeah.
not my place. So that's
Yeah.
going
You-
to make it hard to get a location.
Yeah, I mean, we actually didn't have too many troubles getting the locations we got for season 1. We had more troubles actually trying to find other locations that weren't similar in a way. And I think that was the biggest thing we wanted to do for season 1 was to have different styles of location. Like we really wanted to get into jail, but for some reason, man, it just didn't work out. We couldn't get into any jails in Florida. So unless we did a crime, maybe I had to do some kind of crime or something, but then we'd be all separated, so we couldn't do our thing.
See, I know jail. I do quite often. It's an old one. They filmed Dillinger there because it's where John Dillinger escaped from his Crown Point jail.
Really?
And I know the people that run it. And if you were to tell them, Stephen might have been there already. I don't know, but I think if they were to see what he does in that, they'd be like, not in this place. Nope. They wouldn't let you. They protect it like a baby. They're very proud of it, and they'd be afraid of anything crazy happening like that. So that's just what I wonder is just knowing people and knowing locations and knowing how some of the owners are and the people that run them, that they would be like, no. Our insurance policy would totally have a fit. If
You're
they
gonna
saw
cut
that.
yourself on a Ouija board?
You're right, that's kind of stuff. It's like, he's extreme, but you wonder, like some locations might be like, nope, not going to come in here.
We didn't really have too much trouble, to be
That's
honest
good.
with you, for first season. I mean, we'll see how now that people know
The show's out,
more about
right?
us, it might change a little bit. But I mean, like right now, it's almost up to 1 million streams on Amazon, so it's really just doing good numbers. Some of the reviews are mixed. Some people like it, some people hate it, and you're going to get that. I mean, you're not going to please everybody, but for us, it's doing well. And I want to do a season 2, but we'll kind of see what the future brings, and we plan on if we do. Oh, I don't think we mentioned this. We're going to be guest at Spooky Empire as well, celebrity guest. So if there's anybody out there in the Orlando area that wants to come on by, we're actually going to do a private investigation actually with the Haunted Tours crew. So we're actually going to,
awesome.
we're
When's
going to
that?
do that.
When's that going to
April. We're going to be October 2, but April 6th to the 8th.
be? And there's tickets for sale people can buy to find that, or?
Yeah, they can reach out to us. It's actually at an undisclosed location, so we're not announcing that yet. So we're going to keep that a mystery. But we're going to be at Spooky, so they'll have to get it. I don't know if you heard of Spooky Empire. Rob might have heard of him because he's in that kind of area. So
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I figured he probably would be familiar with it. Now, doing this show, I'm going to kind of lead this up, and we're going to go to a commercial break. But are you a little bit more of a believer, or did you have anything happen in those 5 locations that you're like, okay? Besides, I mean, you told us about the spirit box, replying back, but.
Yeah.
Did you guys have anything more like experience-wise or something that might have made you a little bit more of a believer?
not
I
me
think only the
personally.
spirit box, but I'm like, I don't know, that could be like radio stuff or whatever, but he says like, oh no, it can't translate, or whatever he says on the show. And he said, he's walking and he said he was scratched, but it's like, man, scratch me, dude. Like, I want to feel it.
Well, there's a reason he would get scratched. It's because he opens himself up completely to it. We say this in the paranormal field. Like, I mean, I've seen it happen. I've seen investigators that get very aggressive on an investigation. I saw one get scratched across his face. and he was being extremely aggressive, breaking the rules of the group I belonged to at the time, and provoking.
Oh, really?
And there's a reason we had rules not to do that because he got scratched, and you never know when that starts happening. You open that invitation, what will follow you. I learned early on. I was 17 when I provoked something really bad, and it followed me home and tormented me for 4 months. So for myself,
Wow.
I learned my lesson, and I don't do it. So when I watch somebody like Steven, I'm like. I'm sure he's had some stuff happen to him. He's had to that has affected him, but he still braves on. Me, nope. I go in with my recorders and that, but I don't know who I'm talking to, so I'm always respectful. All right, guys, we'll get back. We're going to do our second and last commercial break. Again, guys, watching on Facebook, we play music out on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. You don't hear it on Facebook. It's quiet, but you can always listen at Late Night Midlands Radio Network. Please check out the website, subscribe or donate to help the network stay alive. When we come back, we will have the phone lines open. You can call in, ask these guys some questions. Maybe you got some Nevada locations they should check out, since that's where it might be season 2 for Haunted Tours. All right, guys, we'll be right back with you in just a few minutes. Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guests are the Jalbert brothers, Brian and Jake. Their show is Haunted Tours. We're talking tonight about they've shot 5 episodes for a first season. They're working on a second season coming out, hopefully, and maybe in Nevada, as we're talking about. You can call in and ask these guys questions. The phone lines are open, all of them. Well, actually, I don't know if we've gotten Jeff's Soup live chat, 800 live chat, Skype line working. I don't think we've tested that out, so maybe not that one. But you can call in on the audio-only Skype line. That's OOJBLANDOO or OOJBlandOO. That's the Skype ID. You can call in on that, or you can call in on our phone line at 219-230-4444. That's 219-230-4444 if you got a question for our guest. Speaking of that, let's get right back to him. All right, so we were talking before the break, if you guys have come out of this a little bit less skeptical, or if you had any experience. It didn't sound like you really had too much experience except for the mirror thing. And like you said, you guys are doing so much filming and focusing on getting the show produced that, it's hard for you to kind of open yourself up to it to see if it would happen. But what are some of the things that you thought were that people you would find the most interesting in some of the shows that might point to a reality of there being a real paranormal world out there?
Like we talked about earlier, that whole session with the Ouija board, opening up and then actually getting reactions. That was pretty intense.
There was one when we were the second episode, the train track one that you're talking about that you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one too.
Because that's the free preview one. So if anybody does want to watch it, just go to our website. You can enter your email and watch an episode for free.
Yeah.
That's the one that we showcased. But I think we were all kind of feeling weird. When I got home, I kind of felt kind of weird, but
I did feel a heaviness when we were upstairs. And I think I was saying that in the episode. It was almost like
that's the episode I saw. I must not saw your first one. It was your second one you gave for free? That's right. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it was the second one I saw. And I think that's the link I have up there for people to check out. So it was the second one I saw. Yeah, you definitely see it. Now, a girl died on those tracks. Is that, if I remember, somebody died on those tracks, right?
That's the story behind it that we were told. That there was I think she was 19 or something like that, somewhere in that age range, and she ended up dying on the tracks, murdered or something like that. And we actually got stuff through the spirit box where they said Allen. So her name was Ethel Allen, which was pretty weird. And then we got some interaction with it when we were talking over the spirit box, and it was almost giving like touch it, like the mirror. We had a lot of mirrors around us as well. And supposedly, I'm told that's a portal.
Yeah. You see, if you have mirrors facing each other, I actually had an investigation where I actually recommended. I said, well, one of the things they say is you shouldn't have mirrors facing each other. And they had this like weird mirror set up in this home, and they did change it, and they said it did feel like stuff lessened in the home after they did that, but they still had some stuff.
Really?
They say it causes like a portal effect in the home. Somehow
I use mirrors like that.
Do you?
for
Yeah, it was
purposely
interesting.
to get the spirits to come in.
Purposely.
Yeah, that's the difference. Jamie, you
I
daredevil.
saw that. I saw that episode where it said Alan out of the ghost box. And
Yeah, that's the one I saw.
is it a coincidence? I mean, it's a hell of a coincidence to come up with that name out of all the millions of names.
Jake, you mentioned, I think you said, well, it's radio, and then Steven explains in that episode, I think too, that the speed that he has the radio chopping at, that it's cycling through the stations. No, even hardly a word should come through with how fast it's going, let alone a couple words or a sentence.
Man, I'm just like, how are the ghosts doing it? Like, how are the spirits able to do it? Like, I just don't know. I mean, I said, I'm just behind the camera, but I try not to put my 2 cents in too much when I'm at the show because, but I'm just like, man, well, I don't get it. I still don't get it.
Let me tell you this: that there's a lot of theories, and there are really no experts in the paranormal field. There really are not. Nobody's an expert because we don't know what the hell we're dealing with. It's something that's hard to quantify. They talk about using the scientific method with it, and you're still going to have. It's like the frog from that old cartoon. It says, "Hello, my baby." It dances for the one guy, but as soon as he goes and shows other people, it's a dead frog. That's kind of like what the paranormal's like. But for the spirit boxes and the radios, there's a lot of theories. My best guess, just so if you guys are interested to know, what I'm thinking is going on with how it's manipulating that audio from that spirit box, how it's manipulating audio from all other ways I've seen people use, is that they need some kind of sound source to manipulate into the recording too. For in air or into another recording. Even EVPs recorded out of thin air seem to happen a lot more if there's some kind of audio for it to bounce off of. Right now, the DR60 Panasonic recorder, we were using that last night at the Bel Air house. Steve Huff and Josh Lewis both had them. These things are going like for $1,500 right now on eBay, by the way. They're an old, crappy recorder. It's an old, really crappy recorder. But they're getting answers. I was hearing it. They were getting answers. They'd ask a question and, wait a minute or so, play it back, and we were getting answers, not just one word. We were getting like sentence. I swear once it said, "No, Liza, don't," and then something else I still can't make out. And that was like a whole sentence out of thin air. And I think it needs the white noise of static crap that comes on that horrible old, the microphone in this one of the very original digital recorders. I think they need something to manipulate, and I think that's what that spirit box does. It's giving them that white noise. That's that very first investigating when they were doing EVPs recording. They actually believed in what's called stochastic resonance, and they used white noise. They would play white noise with the recording because they believed the spirits needed to use that to manipulate, and they've had a lot of success. I even experimented with it when I first started. I just can't stand the static sound, even of the spirit boxes. It gives me a headache to listen to, so I can't do it very long. But there's something to it. They need something to manipulate. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Now, I'm trying to remember.
I agree. And we definitely got some interaction with that, which is like Rod was saying. It's like, man, it is. It makes you go, But I want like proof, like even in episode 3, a ball moves. Nick actually got a ball to move. Now,
which location was this, by the way? Episode 3.
This was the lighthouse in St. Augustine.
Oh, okay.
So, but could it be the unlevel surface? There's little things like that. There could
surface
always
tension.
be that. There could always be that debunking aspect of it.
Just throw something off the friggin' wall.
It doesn't work like that, they say.
It does, but not when you're ready for it with a camera. Because I've had a baby gate thrown at me at a haunted location, like ripped out of the wall and thrown at me. There was nobody else down in this basement. It was completely dark. Everybody was upstairs. It wasn't an investigation. It was a friend's house that was extremely haunted. I was a witness to one event. It was a hammer coming off the wall and flying at somebody's head, who I didn't like. I was like, go spirits. But after I thought that, then I'm at this house, and I swear it's like they do. I thought this because they were getting me because I didn't like the person who had the hammer thrown at his head, so they threw a baby gate at me because I think I even said it in the house. I'm like, oh yeah, good spirits, and they're like, oh really? We're gonna throw something at you. So
they got
might
back
get
at you, man.
you guys, you never know. You might get it. I mean, there are themes on paranormal shows. We've seen some stuff move. I can think of a few episodes, more than a few episodes where they have stuff. But people wonder though, is it real? Because I've talked to people that worked in the TV industry for these paranormal shows. And I'm not going to name names or anything, but I've heard the rumors through the grapevines that the certain productions, the studios are basically letting the production crew go in, and the paranormal investigators are either unaware or are aware that they are doing things to make stuff happen on the show.
Right, and that's a good point to bring up. Oh, go ahead.
That's the thing, though. If you like film something totally legit, say a book just like flies off the shelf, flies across the room, you get it on video, and you put it out there, there's going to be all those people that are like, no, that's fake.
There's always it's always going to be that way. Rob is right. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, well, that's BS.
But you show them some bull crap, they're going to be like, oh my God, good catch.
Sorry, Jake, go ahead.
No, I agree with that, but at the same time, that's why we're starting this journey the way we are.
Yeah,
and we're
like
having
that.
people on like Victoria, and then even this interview now, like, dude, if somebody scratches me, if something scratches me legitly, I'm like,
You will know.
like, I'm done the show. I'm not coming back, probably. Like,
What's happened? No,
find
remember,
the camera guy, bro.
you guys haven't watched the other shows. Ghost Hunters, in its early years, was a really good show. It was a really good show. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think they were faking things early on. I think they went into it with good intent. They weren't faking things. I don't know about later. There's some stuff about later. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about, but the very
Can
first
I mention one thing about that? So I did a location check in one of the forts, I think close where Rob's at, in St. Augustine, and I said, hey, I want to shoot here for paranormal. And they go, oh, well, we don't do that. And I said, well, Ghost Adventures did. And they go, Ghost Adventures did.
Yeah.
And I said, if they did, I said, why don't we? They go, we'll just pull a permit, and they just did their thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there's that stage which kills it, and that's the problem, too. So, like, that's why we're trying to start out on a keel that's...
It's more or less... Rob watched them all, so if you watch it, we're almost like... We talk about each episode prior, we're talking about different things that happen, so... It's more or less like a documentary journey of episodes.
It does feel like what I saw.
Maybe we might not capture anything for 10 seasons, but maybe that 11th season, Victoria gets scratched. It's like, dude, it's real. Like, we're done. This is real. We got the proof.
But that's real life.
But yeah,
you know,
I was going to say, Ghost
Not every
Hunters.
time are you going to get a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's what I was saying. But the first few seasons of Ghost Hunters, they had lots of episodes where nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Really?
Yeah, and they used to do that, and then it was like maybe the 8th or 9th season, it seemed to be every episode of something was happening, and that's when people started going, shenanigans. I don't know. I would hate to say that because I respect Jason Hawes. They really pioneered and got that out there. They were the first to do it, but their earliest season they had a couple different people leave the show, TV crew people, because of stuff happened to them. They had the one guy get pushed, just wailed on, like you see him go down like a ton of bricks, and that was it. He quit. So it does happen to these camera guys on some of these shows. They do get attacked, or things do happen to them. To me, for what you guys are doing, it's a matter of time. I think something's going to happen for you guys.
It will.
You keep doing it. It will.
Rob, no. Look at Rob.
Yeah, go with Rob.
Like Rob.
Go with Rob. You should bring Rob. Have Rob come to you one night, because I tell you what, something will happen. Something's going to happen. You guys, you did 5 episodes. You got more to go. And
even Steven was saying stuff like that. Like, man, this is like the Disney. Florida's like the Disneyland for paranormal. She's like, wait till we get to like.
That is not the Disneyland of paranormal. It is in some areas. I mean, St. Augustine's awesome. But like there's some places that are definitely the Pennsylvania. Oh my God! Like Pennsylvania, I want to go there so bad. There's just so much. That to me is the Disneyland of the paranormal. There's just so much in that state, and I've had so many guests on from that state alone, just because it just seems to be so much paranormal stuff happening there.
In Pennsylvania, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you got
I'll
the
have to
Civil
check
War
into that.
stuff. You got all the Civil War locations, and I mean, just a lot. And there's people watching the show right now, I think, that live in Pennsylvania that live in a haunted house. So yeah. Oh yeah. And hey, man, we just came from Ohio, which wasn't far from that was still in the Appalachian foothills, and that reminds me a lot of Pennsylvania where we were. We did the Bel Air House. That's another place. It's you guys are doing it on your own dime. Before you go to Nevada, check out some places, man. There could be some other locations too. You might be able to decide to go to, or other states that have a plethora of locations for you guys to try.
Yeah, and that's
Nevada
one
would
of the
be cool,
things
though.
we're trying to do too, is state by state, which is cool, So we'll, if we pick a state, we'll stay in that state, do the whole season in that state, and then move on to the next. You know what I mean?
Just don't take Steven out to Area 51 and let him get into the alien thing, because then he'd be really in danger. Because I could see that.
I want to go.
Yeah, right.
Rob, you're in, Rob.
Yeah.
There's Steven running out to Area 51. Come get me, aliens! No, the government's gonna get you. All right,
Oh, man.
we got our regular phone call in the show. Hold on one sec. How you doing tonight, Zach?
I'm doing good, Jason. I missed you, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Sorry, you had fun at that concert last week, but you were still popping into the chat room. That's dedication. He's at a concert and still popping into our chat room on the show. Well, thank you for calling on. I totally understand why you couldn't call in last week since you were at a concert, but I'm glad you called in this week. This is Zach, guys. He calls in the show almost every week, and he always has really great questions. Sorry to put the pressure on you, Zach, but I know you do. So go ahead and ask away.
What up, good?
All right. I just have one question for tonight. Brian, Jake, very nice to meet both of you guys. I heard you guys talking about how you really want to go out to Nevada, and if there's one place for sure in Nevada that you really got to check out, I would strongly recommend Virginia City, man. There's probably going to get a lot of activity if you go there.
Really?
But, oh, yeah, definitely. But my one question to both of you is, could you guys list for us really the top 10 locations that you would say while you're creating your show, hotspots around the country that you would love to check out? Can you just list maybe the top 10?
Well, this is the funny thing.
Your
I'm
dream
going to be
list.
real with you on this, and this is like real stuff. I don't know the hot spots. For Steven, that would be like a question for him, because he is so devoted to it that he could just rattle off all these locations that he wants to go see. But I really don't know. I'm sorry. I don't have an answer for you, man.
We're more or less filming, producing the show, and things like that. So we kind of just did this almost like on a whim when we first started, and it kind of just developed, and we're like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's kind of coming together, and then we finished it, and we're like, okay, we just started kind of structuring, like, oh, it could kind of be like this, and then Steven came involved, because originally it was supposed to be for kids. I know you said kids don't watch this. Originally it was supposed to be a kid show.
Yeah.
For like a family kid show. And
You went a way different direction.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's one of those things where just
It evolved
Yeah.
and it grew.
Yeah.
And it
But that's what
evolved
makes
and
it
grew.
good.
I think Steven, what was he saying he really wanted to go to?
message him on Facebook or something. Do you guys have stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. But I think he was saying Virginia. No, not Virginia. But I know he's stoked on Nevada right now. I know we've
Maybe he
been
was
talking
saying,
about that.
wasn't it Virginia City, though? Isn't that what you said, Zach?
Yeah, Virginia City, definitely, man.
Maybe he already
It's in
knows where he should
Nevada,
go in
right?
Nevada.
Is that what he
Yeah.
said?
Yeah.
Okay.
See?
But yeah, I know Steven's jacked about Nevada. So we'll see how it goes.
Hey, Zach, what place do you know in Virginia City that they should definitely be focused on? If they had one place to go in Virginia City.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Yep. What was
the
it, Jamie?
Wassail Club.
Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely. Would definitely recommend. Isn't that where that famous photograph that was taken? There was the saloon sign right there, and they allegedly captured a face in it. Is that where it was taken?
Sounds familiar. That does sound really, really, really familiar. I don't know. We'd have to look that up.
Or if you guys want to come down to Arizona, I mean, we have Tombstone, Bisbee, Flagstaff, Hotel San Carlos in downtown Phoenix.
I would
Just a
like to
couple
go to
recommendations.
Tombstone. That'd be dope, man.
It's
I
worth
love
it.
that.
I want to go there so bad.
Tombstone's a good one.
I mean, I went there
Yeah,
as a kid. I went there, but I want to go there as a paranormal investigator. I haven't done that. I want to do it so bad.
Yeah, I know. I heard about. I've always wanted to take the ghost tours over at the Birdcage Theater, Birdcage Theater, but I wasn't willing to drive 4 hours just back over here to Phoenix. That's no thanks.
It's a drive, man.
Well, thank you, Zach, for calling in, man.
All right, thank you so much, Jason, for allowing me to call in, and thank you so much, guys, for answering my question. I greatly appreciate it. You have a good night, everybody.
You too.
Take it easy, brother.
Yeah, Tombstone would be awesome. But yeah, Nevada, there's definitely, I mean, a lot to do out there, and it'd be interesting to see. And are you guys shooting for another 5 episodes? Or are you going to up the ante and try to do like 8 or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do 8. I think that's what we've been talking about. I feel like that's a good number to be at for season 2, and then it'll be, because the one thing about season 1 was we didn't have everything set up and then just film it all, right? So what we would do is each month we'd film like an episode, and then we'd film the next episode. And I think the good thing about season 2, which will be cool, is we'll all drive out there, we'll document it. We're going to have actually things set up a little bit more to where we can review footage and things like that on location, so we can film it afterwards. So when we get back to the place, like, you'll be able to see where we're staying and like film that. Oh man, this is what we got, or we got this extra. Do more of that, and actually have like a central hub, and then visit all the locations and film for like a 3-week period of time.
Oh yeah, it'll be a lot different experience for you guys. You're going to be, focused on it for 3 weeks instead of just shooting once a month or whatever. And I think that's going to give you more, as you do it, that you're opening yourselves up by going there, doing it. So you're giving it more permission. So I think something's going to happen to you guys, no matter where you go. You're building to it. You're building to it. That's what I'm going to be interested to see in season 2 if something happens to you guys. You got to have your paranormal cherry popped.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be pushed or something.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, last night I was at the. It's been a long time since I've been slightly touched on investigations and stuff, but there was only like one time where something really, being a paranormal investigator, I had more in my childhood happen to me than as a paranormal investigator. But on an investigation, I had something once grab my wrist and yank me down and almost pull me down off a rock pile, and.
Wow.
And I had a bone cyst on my wrist right after that, grew on that spot where I was yanked. It was really weird. But the last night at the Bel Air house, it's been so long, something really hard pinched the back of my calf, and I could not find any explanation for why. No mark was left. I was waiting for a mark to appear. Sometimes these things appear like minutes or an hour later. They suddenly just appear, but it hurt. It was like somebody just grabbed my calf and pinched it really hard. I was like, so you're going to get that. Something's going to happen to you. You start doing it enough, you open yourself up. It's like you're giving it permission to touch you.
So could they bump into you? Could they bump into you, or is it just like grabbing, or I mean, I don't know,
This was like somebody physically pinched my calf, like a hand did it. And I've been touched where you feel like almost like a hand on you. I've had that, and I was on a walkthrough for an investigation I never got to do, sadly, and me and the client both felt that this thing just couldn't see anything. The lights were on, we're just walking. She's giving me a tour, and we both felt this huge, really weird rush of air and this tingly sensation, like something went right through us. And you've heard other people experience that. It was my first time doing this all these years. I felt like something actually passed through me. I'd been doing it for years at that point before I ever had that happen. I mean, I've had stuff since I was a kid, but these things, it's why I still do it. There's always going to experience something new. You guys you're just getting into this. Something's going to happen. We do have another caller on the line, so hold on one second. You on the line there? I think we have Lurley with us.
Yeah, hi Jason. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for calling in.
Hi Zach, or hi Jake. Hi Brian. You guys what interesting stories you guys are telling. I can't wait to see your show.
I appreciate that.
I'm calling you from Canada because you guys said you're filming your next season. I'm wondering, have you ever thought about that? Especially where I live, we have a huge Native Aboriginal population and quite a bit of active activities where I live. I'm in Northwestern Ontario. I'd love for some paranormal team to come to our.
She's been trying to get somebody to come there. I'm telling you guys, she's been trying really hard.
But it's just the area. But yeah, I do live in a haunted house as well. Yes.
I'll make a deal with you. If you fund season 2, we will film where you are at.
We're staying in your haunted house.
We're staying in your house, and you could be on the show.
Oh, well, I don't need to. I don't care if I'm on the show or not, but you're welcome to stay in my house. I guarantee you won't stay longer than a couple nights.
Her husband's been thrown.
Steven won't mind.
Yeah, Steven. Oh, I don't think it's a good idea, Laura Lee. I don't.
No, it sounds
I don't. You think things are bad now, and you bring Steven in there, it's going to be really bad. Real bad. It is bad already for Laura Lee, so it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. No, make that jet.
That's why we love Steven. Steven don't play. That's why we love Steven.
No,
you guys, go ahead.
I was saying my husband's been thrown 15 feet. I can't say what show yet, but we're actually going to be on the 4th season of an upcoming paranormal show. So, and when they heard our story, we live 18 hours away from where they were filming, and they flew us down right away.
And I can't wait. I know the secret about where she's going to be on, and I can't wait because it actually is a show I really like, and I cannot wait.
Well, when you're on there, let us know. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah.
I will for sure. They've promised me in writing they're not going to make us look crazy or change the story too much, so I hope they don't.
This is a good show.
You believe in ghosts?
Yeah. I can't say the show, but I know the show, and I like the show. I think you should be all right.
Yeah, but so you know what? If I win the lottery, I'll send you the money because I would love to have somebody in our city. We live out of nowhere, though. I live in Northwestern Ontario, but I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed in this city. There are so many haunted locations, and like I say, especially with Aboriginal culture and things like that.
Maybe it'll be season 3.
Wow.
You guys
there
make
you
money
go.
off the show.
Season 3.
Season 3, and that would be the house. Laura Lee, you got to have a plan to move and get out eventually of that house. Just don't do it until you have a plan to get out of the house, and then before you'll sell it or whatever. Let Steven go in there.
Because you know why? When I move, I want my neighbors to experience it all because they're not fun. I've been here for 21 years.
Let Steven go in there.
If we get in there, we gonna mess things up.
Yeah. You can't go back in that house after that, Laura Lee. You got to be done if you let Steven go in there.
That's for sure. Well, you know what? You guys, I can't wait. Good luck on your 2nd season. And like I said, I can't wait to watch your show here in Canada.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good night. Thanks, Jason, for taking my call.
Thanks, Laura Lee. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, she's got all kinds of crazy stuff going on in that house. So, I mean, it was like, that's the thing. Steven, you guys are doing locations that are not houses. They're not people living there, right? I mean, they're all public places. So, and Steven, I don't think Steven would ever go and do any of that stuff in somebody's home, Yeah,
we've never done any private. Well, we've never done any private homes. It's more of the bigger. That's why it's basically called haunted tours, because we go to where all these haunted tours are supposedly take place, and we try to find out the real ones from the fake ones, like which ones are real, where are we getting activity, and where are we not. In every episode, we've gotten stuff, some more than others.
This is a question you guys should propose on the show and ask, because this is something I've speculated and I think we should be asking. Again, I hate to reference Ghost Hunters again, but I am going to, because this is a good example. They did the Queen Mary. First time they ever did the Queen Mary, and they had this room they had a camera set up at, and now maybe this was shenanigans on their part, or maybe this was shenanigans of people at the Queen Mary. But they go back to that room. They're like, "Hey, we got the bedspreads moved," and they go and check the camera, and you see the bedspread slowly peel back. And one of the investigators is listening to it, and he's like, "No, listen to the beep. You can hear a beep on the camera where they stopped it and restarted it, so they can sneak in and move the blanket." And they found a secret doorway that they were not told about that went into that room. So somebody was able to get into that room, stop the camera. Or so it had been 2 people. One person stopped the camera, they got into position, and the other person hit record, and then that person pulled that blanket back. So somebody tried to fake something on the Queen Mary. Queen Mary, I mean, what do they? I mean, yeah, it's historical and that, but what do they try to sell to the public? This is a haunted ghost ship. Come get a room for a lot of money a night, or come on a haunted tour. There is a motive for profit, and you go there to do an investigation. There's another episode I remember. They were building this hotel strictly to be a haunted hotel, like refurbishing this hotel. Like, oh, it's abandoned, and I bought it, and it's haunted, and this guy's refurbishing. And this is when I started not liking ghost hunters. You hear clear as day on all the recordings, the video, their audio recording, I like the guy in the hat. That's what everybody hears it. They hear it with their ears. And they go all around going, oh, we cannot debunk it. It's got to be real. I'm like, this is a hotel being built for the primary purpose of that it's haunted. People to come stay there, investigate. And you're going to say that voice you heard you can't explain? If an illusionist wants to create an illusion, they will, and you won't see it. You won't know. I can think of multiple ways you could have done it, and that the stuff they checked, they didn't check thorough enough that I could have got away with it. And they're building the hotel. I mean, literally, they could plaster in a speaker behind the wall. I mean, and the ghost hunters they've busted that kind of hoax before, but they didn't even try it on this one. This was later on. That's when I stopped watching. And that's the kind of shenanigans, like you guys aren't going to have because you don't have that pressure from a studio or a network. It's you want the real thing, and no matter what you get, and that's what I love about what you're doing, because that's why I stopped watching a lot of ghost hunting shows, because I feel like they are getting so long that they're not doing the thorough investigations they used to do.
And it comes down to that, eventually.
Exactly.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because in episode 2, the one you saw at Ashley's bar where we got some activity, the lady, check this out. So we walk in, and supposedly there was no rose on this thing. And she was acting real weird, and she points out this rose. And we're like, was that there before? And she was like, I don't think so. And she was acting real weird.
You could tell she was.
And you could tell it was a BS gimmick. And I'm like, well, that's BS. So we just cut all that crap out, because we got to the good stuff. Like, what are we really getting? What are we getting here? Well, the spirit box is saying Alan. That's pretty intense. We're getting certain feelings and things like that. Well, why are we feeling this way? We're getting a lot of spirit box activity up in this one area where the restaurant was. So those are the things we want to show. The real, where we're not going to show some fake rose that you put there. Just little things like that.
You trusted your gut on it, and it's like, not buying it. Yeah, I understand it. Yeah, and the production studios now with these shows are like, oh yeah, let's do an interview. Let's put the rose. Like, they'd be all on top of it. They'd be all on top of it. A lot of the shows. And like I said, there are some shows I still like. I like Paranormal Lockdown with Nick Groff. I do like that show. I'll admit, I watched that one.
Do you really? My daughter loves that show.
Yeah, I actually do like that show. There's the Ghost of Shepherdstown. That's another one he's on. I couldn't get into that. That's totally scripted. I mean, like, it's so scripted. I like the people on it, but it's so scripted that I just can't stand it. And that's what I like about your show. I don't feel nothing scripted. There's nothing scripted going on at all.
No scripted at all.
At all. You can tell. And that's why honestly, it's one of the things I enjoyed most about the show. I mean, like I said, it was the second episode, only one I saw, but that's what I enjoyed, is that, you guys, there's no like I said, that like, we just got a phone call for an investigation. Oh yeah, Brian, come check it out. This ruins it.
In the beginning, we were kind of thinking of maybe doing a couple spots like that, and then after seeing it, it was just like, no, this is stupid. And then like, it just started happening so organically, and it's just like, man, it's way better just raw and real the way we're doing it.
Exactly. Keep it that way. That's what makes your guys' show good.
Yeah, and we kind of kept that going through every episode. Like, we got more raw and real. Like, we got more extreme, like more intense. And it was just that growth of that. And us actually vibing and coming together as a unit, as a team, with Jake and me and Victoria and Nick and Steven.
I'm interested.
We all have a good rapport.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I'm interested in is you guys as being film editing the film and the audio and all that is I'm an EVP guy. I love capturing the no spirit box, just the ambient audio and you get a voice on there. Did you guys get any EVPs on your equipment when you were doing this? Or, like, any voices that popped through?
Every EVP thing we did never worked. It just never got anything. And I think he tried on every episode, and it just was always a stale, just bummer.
Yeah. So we might try more of it with season 2 and actually do more analyzing of some of that footage, of what we document there. But our main tools for season 1 were the spirit box and the Ouija board, and just going on gut feeling and what we're more experiencing than trying to create anything.
Yeah, we also want the audience to we want to be real about it. So if Brian's feeling something, they're like, oh, I know he's feeling something. Or if Victoria's feeling something, because she's been joking around and laughing, but now she's crying. Obviously something's wrong, Yeah. She's not always oh my God, what's that? Or, oh my God, So she's kind of cool.
What I'd like to, your second season, man, try to get those EVPs, man, because to me that's my favorite kind of evidence from a show. And I know a lot of people that are fans of the paranormal shows. That's a big one. They love the EVPs, and I do too. To me, it's one of the most raw kind of evidence you can get if you can control the environment around you. It's hard. You got to. I was on the Bel Air house, and there was 15 people, and they split them up to groups and made sure they were on 3 separate floors. One group had to be all the way in the attic. If another group was on the first floor, or if somebody was in the basement, they had to be on the second floor. But it's still, you wonder, I have to watch out for contamination. So there's things like that. But most of the time when I get an EVP, it's in the first minute or two.
Yeah.
I never let my recorder session for EVP sessions go longer than 10 minutes each.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
stick.
when you did those in the very beginning, so maybe that's the best time to do it. You're saying?
Well, sometimes at the beginning, I always, the best time I get EVPs is actually when right when the recorder, I hit the start of the recorder, and we're like, all right, let's get set up. All right, we're going to ask some questions, and it'll be an EVP in there sometimes. But the best ones I get replies is usually the first or second question, and I'll get it right. It's never going to happen every EVP session, never does. But I cut them down into 10, and always introduce yourself, and make it a conversation. With the spirits.
Show them what to talk into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the spirit box. A lot of shows like Paranormal Lockdown. He does a lot of the he uses a lot of my friends' equipment, Stephen Huff's Portal and George Brown's Geobox. So it's instant. You get that reply. Everybody in the room hears it. That's why everybody loves the spirit boxes and stuff. But man, I don't know. I'm still a big fan of the EVP. That voice that just comes out of thin air. Yeah, you don't get to hear it in real time. There's ways you can. There's different ways. You have a static mic and the headphones. You can hear it. I'm sure you're one of you guys is doing sound during it, right?
Yeah, I do audio.
So you're getting live audio feed into it, right?
I am. I get live audio feed from the lavaliers. So we weren't. Again, we're on a tight budget. We're a small crew. When we get that box going, we're just getting it from either the lavalier or a little shotgun mic. So in season 2, we're going to have something actually connected to the actual my audio box to actually get a better.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Recording of it,
Yeah, then you can use that for real time in a way for EVP. I've taught people how to do it off just using their cell phone. There's apps you can get on your cell phone and get the mic on your cell phone and headphones. You can jack that so you can hear and walk around, and you're hearing just like you had one of the professional static mics that can pick up the ambient sound in real time. You can hear it. I've heard EVPs come straight through. When you hear an EVP come real time through recording, it's awesome. And then you have the recording to go back to show everybody. But when you hear it yourself, it's like you're getting a little peek on how they're doing it. Maybe, I don't know. It's very interesting. I was wondering that as whoever was doing sound, if they're picking up anything. I think the boom mics, really good mics don't pick up EVPs as well. My Olympus has a really good mic on it, and I do get EVPs, but I swear the crappy recorders, if they have something static to use, that's why I say the EVPs a lot of times end up happening in between two people talking. You hear one person say something, and in between there's the EVP right after they finish, and then another person starts talking. It's like it's bouncing off their audio.
Or like if you're walking and you hear like the clothes brushing, sometimes you'll hear in between that a little voice.
Really?
It's something
Or
really
right at the
speculating.
end of your sessions too, when they know you're about to leave, all of a
Yeah, that's what
sudden
I've
you
gotten
might get
EVP
something.
right at the very end of the recording. I've gotten some really good ones before. Yeah, sometimes they're right at the beginning or right at the end. It's crazy.
Really?
Wouldn't
Yeah,
they
so-
want to? Wouldn't they want to like? Do you think it's a struggle for them to like get them voices, or do you think they can just do it
I
easy?
think so.
I think it's a struggle. I think it's energy. I've noticed where we've had a couple EVP sessions and nothing. I've got nothing on it, and later in the recorder, we'll hear somebody say, "I'll be listening to the audio or watching the video," and somebody like, "Oh, my camera died," and that was a full battery, and then I start getting these EVPs, and it's like, did they have to drain something, get that energy to make it happen?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, man. It definitely is. I know for us, it's interesting just really getting acquainted to this and really feeling this out, because our biggest thing is we're like horror film producers. Like that's what we do. Like we love creating projects, and to have this show just do so well right now, it's like, wow, this is really cool to be a part of, and now we can keep doing it, and actually expand and grow as a crew and learn more, like just talking to you guys, learning a little bit more about what's going on and maybe new techniques or new ways to try different things.
So I know Steven mentioned this. He's like, we didn't want to put like text over what has they like. So if the spirit box says Alan, we didn't want to put text over that saying it said Alan. We wanted almost the audience to be like they hear it and they're like, that said Alan, and then you hear us say, that said Alan, What do you guys like that about the show? Is that something that
I do like that. I do like that because when I do, this is what I've said, because I have friends, they do a lot of ITC, and they tag their stuff for the audience because they've tried not tagging, and people are like, well, wait, what did it say? Or not everybody has an ear for it. So if people tag their stuff, I'm not going to knock them at all. I've done it too. I'm guilty of it too. But when I do like an EVP presentation for people, when I'm playing the EVPs I've caught, I always do this thing where, okay, this is what happened, given the scenario, and then I play the EVP and I don't tell them what it says. And I play it a few times and I'll get the opinions. Sometimes everybody's like, yeah, I hear that. And a lot of times it's like, oh, I hear this or I hear this. And that, to me, that's how you get classification, Class A to Class B to Class C, is by that gauging that, how easy is it for people to hear. Not everybody has an ear for it either, I've noticed. But some EVPs are so Class A that even the layman to it will be like, oh, yeah, that's what it said. But doing it, labeling it, I will, if I've made videos for EVPs, I'll do that. I'll play it. But then I do what I call the EVP game. Okay, now this is what you thought it said. Now I'm going to say it said this. This is what we all in our group agreed upon, thinking this said, or most of us agreed upon. And then I'll tell them, and now that's the only thing they hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it will influence what you hear. Yes. For sure.
Yeah.
So I do like that approach. I like the thought into that, because you shouldn't. I think you can tag it later, like you can show it like the way you do, with no tagging and have it said. But if you go to like one more clip or replay, then tag it for the people who are like, what are you guys talking about?
I don't tag more than I actually tag.
Yeah. It's all right to tag it if you've, I think, presented it in a way where you gave people a chance to hear it on their own.
Yeah. I like the experience. Like I like the people that almost experience what we're experiencing as
That
well.
is cool.
So like
That's a cool way to
when
do
we're
it.
going through this, like their experience. So you know what? It's like, if you want to hear what it said, go back on freaking Amazon, click it over, and then listen. If you're that,
Amazon
engaged,
sucks for that, man. I'll tell you what.
It
Amazon,
does. You're right. It does.
sucks. It just rewinded the whole beginning of the show. That's what always happens. I try to rewind and it goes right back to the beginning of the show. That's what'll happen. So yeah, no, but I get that. I like that approach. Like I said, I've done that with my EVP presentations, because the best. When I have a really good EVP, I don't want to tell people at all what I think it says, especially when I think it's Class A. I want to hear them go, oh yeah, it said that. I'm like, that's Class A. Everybody's hearing the same thing, and you get frustrated when you think you have a Class A, and you're like, oh, they're for sure going to hear this. I mean, God, I hear it definitely. You play it, and then they say something else. No, it definitely says this. And I'm like, no, that's not what it says. You know? So it's the EVP game. You know, that's what I call it. Because as soon as you do tell them what you think it says, they're like, oh, now I hear that. And you're like, yeah, but you didn't hear it before I told you.
Yeah, 'cause you can hear us saying, did you say bring it? No, I thought it said dig it. And you can hear us all saying different things.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you would listen to people talk to you normally, not the dead. You know, we mishear people all the time, you know. I'm sure my blubbering mouth, people are mishearing me say all kinds of things on this show. But I don't know. So you guys, you know, you're going to do the season 2. You're going to have the same cast come back, pretty much, everybody?
Yeah, we're going to keep the same crew. We're really tight. You know, we've known Nick for a long time. We've worked with Nick, actually, on our first production we did in 2012, House Guest Massacre. Yeah. We met Nick on that, and then Victoria. We met.
I gotta check that out.
It's on Amazon. And don't judge us on it. It's our first feature ever. But then we did a 10 Seconds to Run pilot, and that's when we met Victoria. And actually, we worked with Victoria too with iHorror. You ever heard of iHorror.com?
Yes.
With the eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of production for them. And that's actually kind of where Haunted Tour started a little bit too, because we did a couple episodes down in Key West. We did an episode in Key West where we visited Robert the Doll. And it was just a small little video we did. It was like a 5-minute thing with Victoria where she hosted it and stuff. And we did that. And then we did one at Spook Hill with a Gravity Hill. So that's kind of how it started. We're very loyal to the people that work with us.
Yeah, it's like
and that we work with.
if anyone did get out the show, we probably just wouldn't do the show anymore.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like it wouldn't be the same show.
It's like a band, you know.
Right. Like if somebody quits the band, like there's no show anymore. I won't do it.
Don't be Van Halen and just throw another guy
Throw
up there.
somebody else in.
Yeah, 'cause that magic, you know, is just there with all of us, you know. So that's how I see it. But, you know, maybe if the show gets super, super big and people want to go adventure off and do some things, that's fine too, you know.
Yeah.
But doing the actual show, I don't know. We'll see. You just don't know.
Yeah. But no, we're not replacing anybody. We're keeping the same crew for season 2. We're gonna come back with more vengeance and better, and you know, up the ante in so many different ways, and even take the criticism that we get, you know, and try to incorporate maybe some of the things we lacked on in season 1, and make it a little better with season 2, you know. And I mean, of course, you're going to get criticism from all sides. You can't please everybody, but if somebody has a legitimate gripe that you keep hearing, you got to figure out, okay, well, maybe there's something there, and let's incorporate something else, or let's figure out how to make it work better.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like I said, I liked how you guys do the show. I think you guys too. And I noticed one of the things of you and True North Paranormal I had on, they did this too with their show. I think when you have like the quiet moments when you're like listening to hear if anything's being said or the spirit box, you're not playing some creepy music in the background. You get that feeling like you're there with the investigators. You go for that feel, and that's what I like. That's how it should be. It should give you the feeling like you're there on the investigation with you guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you guys really do.
Certain times, especially with the spirit box, we try to bring the sound down really low because you want to hear what's coming through. And I know we had a couple issues in season 1 where you couldn't quite hear certain things. So that's why I definitely want to up it for season 2, where we actually get a direct line into the spirit box or whatever we're communicating with. We get that direct line to where we can get that nice, clean audio, you know?
Hey, talk to me about it. I do it on the show or at least once a month. We direct line the spirit box audio right into the show. And you would think, the spirits to communicate, if they're here, they got to hear it come out of the box. There's no sound here. I got my 2-year-old's bedroom right above me. I'm not playing the spirit box out, So it all goes straight into the mixing board. But I swear the spirits, they hear us talking here in the panel. They even know what people are saying in the chat room. We've seen evidence of that on this show.
Wow.
I mean, and they hear the people on my phone lines or in the Google Hangouts and are talking to them, saying their family members' names. You know, I mean, we've had direct audio come to the show. I don't even think came from the spirit box. It just like entered into the audio of the show from somewhere. I don't know. I still can't figure it out. It's happened a couple times. And we don't know where the audio source was, because like when I use a Steve Huff's portal, that's got reverb on it. Everything coming through there, I can hear has reverb. You know, we got a message through once. It was Steve actually, his spirit box, and I knew he had reverb on it. We could hear it coming, and it was in between his box going off. We hear a clear voice more than once come through, and right in the direct audio of the show. So I mean, you guys could get that while you're filming. You could get you could get audio that just pops up. It didn't come from your mic. It actually is somehow directly fed into the audio, whatever your system is.
Yeah, I'll have to get with you after the show or something, you know, sometime, and we'll talk more about it, because I got to figure out how to do that, you know, hook it directly into the spirit box we're going to be using, even if it's wireless. I'd like to do it wirelessly, but we'll see.
Yeah, you definitely could do that. It's a lot more money. I know ways of doing it, but it's more money.
All right.
There's Bluetooth microphone XLRs you can put right into a mixer and have that basically wherever he goes with that spirit box. If it's in a Bluetooth signal, you can send right to your mix, and you can go anywhere within the signal range.
Interesting.
You know? And you wonder if they can manipulate that just to signal the Bluetooth. I don't know. There's something they can really manipulate electronics, I believe, because of the stuff I've seen, like I said, just on this show alone. Them do.
Our little cameras tend to die a lot, but my camera has never had any problem.
Yeah,
I've had some recent equipment that don't drain. Yeah, it could be that maybe it's just more shielded, the battery you're using in there. I don't know. Or maybe they just know they don't want to mess with your camera. You know, I know what it is to don't mess with my camera. You're putting out that vibe, that protective energy, you know, like don't mess with this.
Well, I think I'd say to them, like, if they can shut this camera off, I'll believe you. Like,
don't tempt them, because they might. It might not ever come back on, because that happened to me.
that'd be awesome, actually.
Your camera might be dead. That has happened to me. I was at a location once, and this location has a habit of destroying people's equipment. Not just draining batteries, like destroying their equipment in some weird way. You can't figure out what's wrong, and it won't ever work again. And I had my High 8 camera back in the day. I loved that thing. And I was like, I don't really want to pull it out here. This place has got bad karma for destroying equipment. I'm like, okay. It was like in 2 minutes in, it was not working. It never worked again.
Wow.
It's like, I knew it. So yeah, it could get expensive doing paranormal TV show if they start messing with your equipment. Depends
That is
on the
true.
location.
Put it in the budget.
Lots of batteries.
Yeah, you gotta have lots of batteries. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what you guys do in the second season. If you can get more EVPs. Yeah. Hey, you ever want to ask for my advice? I'm not an expert, but I've been doing it for a while, and I even took a extracurricular college course in audio analysis. That EVPs are my cup of tea, and anything in the paranormal. That's what I love. I'd love to see you guys get more. You know, get some actual EVPs. To me, it's like the best evidence I wait for on a show. Like, ooh, what EVPs did they get? You know, so.
That would be cool.
I think we will do that on season 2.
That's awesome. We only got a couple minutes here left, so go ahead and give people more the information. Even if you've said it before, give it again. Tell people where they can find you, and keep up to date for what's going to be happening with Haunted Tours.
All right. So we're going to be at Spooky Empire April 6th to the 8th. If you guys want to find us, we're on social media, Haunted Tours TV. On Facebook. If you guys want to preview an episode for free, preview that episode, type in hauntedtourstv.com, enter your email, and then you'll be able to get taken to a direct page where you'll be able to preview an episode. But if you just want to watch the full season, it's on Amazon Prime right now for your viewing. So,
and definitely leave reviews and let us know what you think, because we don't. Good or bad, let us know how you feel about it.
Yeah,
you're gonna get critics with whatever you do, and I had criticism just from a trailer, and about the gun issue. I'm still uncomfortable with an unloaded gun being pointed at somebody's head, even though you checked it. I'm glad you did. That's great. I'm still I'm one of those people, that I'm just very strict when it comes with guns. So how you handle them, what you do, and yeah. Again, it was beaten into me when I was the small time I was on the police force. If you ever would have mishandled the gun in any way, pointed at anybody, boy, it'd be 100 push-ups and probably running 2 miles at least. When you're training, so it's like don't do that with the gun. When I saw that in that trailer, I was like, oh my god, no. But you guys really do push the limits. I love your way of trying to, like, we're not going to do what everybody else has done. We're going for some extreme. You definitely found the right guy. Steven has no qualms about pushing it to the most extreme. I hope he remains safe. I would never do or recommend anybody do what he does, but I understand why he's doing it. He wants to prove it one way or the other, and he's going to go to whatever means he feels necessary. Just don't let him get hurt. Don't let him get hurt.
No.
One thing is, like, I think it was the second season, the railroad tracks, he was trying to get somebody to tie him to the railroad track. Luckily, none of you guys did. Nobody was going to do it.
No.
I was like, bro, we're not tying you. And then I'm like, fine, we can tie you.
But you're like, no, we're not tying you to the railroad track, Steven. No. That to me is like, nah, that's not a good idea. Him laying on the tracks, okay, whatever. Maybe not the greatest idea, but tying him to tracks, no way. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. Can't wait to see the rest of the first season. I will when I get time to catch up on all the shows I'm way behind on, and then to see second season, see what you guys do. So, I'll definitely promote it.
I appreciate you having us on. It was a pleasure meeting everybody. Jamie, Rob, Jason, thank you guys. Make sure you guys check it out, Haunted Tours.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's it for the show. We'll be back next Sunday with our guest that we had to cancel because of the flooded basement situation I had for 3 weeks. Robbie Thomas will be coming on. He is a psychic investigator. He's found missing people and worked with law enforcement. It's really interesting. He's got a number of books out there. I just bought one of them. I'm starting to read. I've been trying to read it. I've had a lot of time, but it seems really interesting. Jamie, this is totally up your alley. Missing people, finding them through psychic resources. Robbie Thomas is just an amazing individual. So I was really sad I had to cancel him. Luckily, he's a real nice guy, and was easily said he would totally come back on, reschedule it. So we got him on next Sunday, 10 p.m. to midnight Central Time, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern. Same bad time, same bad channel. Check us out on Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup on our Facebook page, Paranormal Soup on YouTube for our show archive, and you can listen to us on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. Please go to the website and subscribe or donate. Do what you can to keep this network going. We have so many great hosts, such a great network. Listen on TuneIn app or on the TalkStream app. Check it out, and if you can donate a little bit, anything will help. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next Sunday.